Okay. Peace, peace. Hello. Good night. All right. Peace, mans. Hello. Peace, A. Hello. Good to see you. Oh. No sound. There we go. How's that? Forgot to do my clicks. There we go. All right, cool. Thank you for that. Totally forgot about that. Peace, Stephanie. Hello. Thank you for joining. All right. So we can take a few moments here just to settle in. Grab some tea or coffee, whichever you prefer, or some water. Get comfortable. Get started in about a minute. Grab some water. Right, now we're ready to go. Peace, Anthony. Grand Rising. Peace, Sarah. Hello. Thank you for joining. All right. So, if we have our tea, our water, our coffee, ready to settle in, we can begin today's practice. So we can start by taking a few deep inhales in through the nose, followed by Open mouth exhale. Allowing your back to straighten out, lengthening the spine to sit alert. Allowing your shoulders to relax, sink in to your body. Unwrinkling the forehead, unclenching the jaw, softening the belly. Allowing the autonomic features to activate. The parasympathetic nervous system. Moving out of fight or flight. And allowing rest and repair. Calming our nerves, telling our body that we're safe, we're at peace. Allowing the rest of the week to melt away. To be here, presently, in this generous present moment. Being aware that the mind may look forward to the future. You might recall the past. Just observing the mind go to these places. Not trying to justify or explain it. Not being attached. just witnessing. Strengthening our greatest tool, which is our awareness. Bring awareness to the breath, setting that as our anchor point. So anytime the mind begins to wander, we can gently bring it back to the breath. Letting our awareness fall to our hearing, taking in these sounds of nature, the different animals, insects, various forms of life that we are constantly surrounded by. Extensions of consciousness and awareness. What life forms surround you? Maybe they're animal companions that you've chosen. Maybe they're insects that inhabit and live in your dwelling. Or perhaps they have root systems that help provide you with oxygen and you trade your CO2 for. trillions and trillions of cells, bacteria, not only in our bodies, but that exist around us, in the air and the surfaces. Just bringing awareness to the various forms of life, seen and unseen. With all these forms of life comes energy. And the comfort that we're never alone, so long as we don't distinguish as human beings being the only things that give us companionship. These other forms of life exist with us, together. Some work diligently to scrub our air or our surfaces. Others provide us with love, kinship. Know that the energy of their being is always with us, albeit small, maybe microscopic, but it's there. Can be felt, and even tapped into. That energy is, of course, frequency. Allow yourself to feel it. Allow your frequency to harmoniously resonate with that is around you. Keeping our attention and awareness on the forms of life around us. this life, all forms of it. For each has the right to exist. And each provides a different perspective of this experience that we're all sharing. Just as we observe our wandering mind and thoughts, and sometimes when we observe them far enough, we can learn. What can we learn from observing these other forms of life around us? What can we appreciate? Invite you to call upon gratitude for the sharing of existence with this life. Of all time periods they can exist in, they are here now with you. There's something special in that. What is it for you? What does life mean to you? we love our life unconditionally and see it as a perspective of the shared experience? Can we love all life unconditionally as we see it as a perspective in the shared experience? by removing distinction. In doing so, we can see all life is sacred. body. How does it feel in this moment? frequency to reach coherence. Continue to check in with yourself. Do inventory. Understand these feelings. Get familiar with them. Make them your baseline for comfort. This space and the clear path we've laid out to get here. Envision a shortcut in your mind and know that these neural pathways, by way of synapses and neurons, have now formed and exist. Where we send our attention is where we send our energy. Keeping our attention on these neural pathways strengthens them. Allows us to use this path to reach this feeling anytime we need to. All it takes is a few breaths, intentional thoughts, and grace. Listen for the sounds around you. Identify them. Taste the saliva in your mouth. Feel your body, the chair beneath you. Smell the aromas in the air. And slowly begin to open your eyes. Welcome home. And thank you for applying today's balm. And thank you for allowing me to guide you for this meditation, focusing on life, all forms of it. I hope this practice was serving. Hope you're able to move through the rest of your day with a bit more peace, more calm, and a reset nervous system. Recalling the familiarity of this feeling. So throughout your day, we can come back here again, knowing that the neural pathways exist. Just envision that shortcut through the forest in your mind's eye. Those are your neural pathways. Back here to this peace, this calm. Cool. Yeah, thank you. Welcome home. I like that though. The shortcut. That's cool. It just came to me. So thank you, whoever I channeled that from. And the meditation about life was interesting. That also just came. It was sparked by a quote from Dune Messiah. I want to find the actual. Do I have the book somewhere? Oh, I do. Excellent. Oh, this is not the one that I was hoping for. See if I can find it this way. Yes. Oh man, I'm so happy I found it. So I finished Dune Messiah again last night or night before. And there's a quote closer to the end of the book where Paul Atreides says, he's kind of like, what's the word? He's like feeling sorry for like himself and like what's happened, what he's created. And he says, if you need something to, because he's looking around at like the pilgrims and stuff that are coming to kind of worship him, and like the people around his palace that are all like worshiping him but like fear him as well. So he says, if you need, he's thinking this in his mind, if you need something to worship, then worship life, all life, every last crawling bit of it. We're all in this beauty together. And something about that just like really stuck out to me. And yeah, so that's what kind of sparked the meditation about life tonight. That was like, and also I have all these like little crawling carpenter ants everywhere on my table. I don't know where they're coming from, but they're like all over the place. Every time I shoo them away, they just pop back up. Anyway, and it just made me think that like, yeah, like we are really all in this together. We're all here together, you know, and like life is life, you know. These ants have as much right to exist as I do. It's because they're not capable of complex thought, or maybe just not that we register as complex thought, even though ants are predatory superorganisms, but still, that's another topic. Excuse me. Oh. Yeah, it was just interesting to me that like there's so many different forms of life, and listening to the meditation sounds, hearing that was recorded at like 6:30 in the morning, I think, when I was at the monastery. And just hearing how much life there is out there, you know, maybe I'll throw it back on. Just hearing all these different sounds, these birds, these frogs, these insects, these lizards, these, I don't even know what else. Like there's so much, and that's just like the animals. If we could hear the plants, that would be, I wonder what it would sound like. But yeah, so it's just like being overwhelmed by these sounds from these forms of life was just so interesting to me. So it was like hearing that, and then remembering the line, and then seeing these creepy crawlies everywhere. It was just like, yeah, life is life, you know. And you know, so oftentimes, like, you know, I reflect sometimes, because I've lived alone for such a long time. Sometimes I reflect and be like, am I lonely? It's like, no, I don't think I am. You know, sometimes I do long for companionship or friendship or something like that. But I often remember that like I'm surrounded by so much life. As long as I remember that all life is life, then like I'm not lonely. You know, these guys are living, crawling around me. Even smaller than that, the bacteria that is here, probably on this table, on this mic, everywhere, like that is life. The bacteria that's in me, the cells that are in me, like that's all life. This colony being that we are. Yeah. And like I don't have any plants in this apartment, but what I did, you know, all that plant life, you know, like it's all life. It's all something that is sacred and beautiful. And then the added kind of fact that throughout all the times that exist before us, that will exist after we leave, we're here now with these things, you know. So they, even though their lives might be fleeting, might be super short, considerably, significantly shorter than ours, they still exist now in the time frame that we exist, you know. For the decades that we'll exist, they were a short part of that. And it's, I don't know, something about that is also super interesting, because they could have existed a long time ago. You know, when I look at the plant life here, some of them did exist, you know, for decades, centuries before me, but some didn't. Some I'm older than some are older than me. So it's just interesting that, like, as long as we remember that life isn't just relegated to human life, it's not just relegated to who we can talk to, who we can see, who we can share our thoughts with and get something back from. I feel like we're never alone, you know, and that's just the physiological side of it, not even talking about the metaphysical side of it, where, like, yeah, ancestors, soul group, spirit guides, all that kind of stuff is always with us too. But from a physical standpoint, life is everywhere, and it's so beautiful. So yeah, that was kind of the motivation today. Yeah, it was cool, and thank you to whoever I channeled that from. That was cool. I guess maybe Frank Herbert. But let me see who we have here with us. Peace Willow, hello. Peace Grace, good to see you. Peace Lisa, hello. Peace Janine, thank you for joining. Peace Maisha, peace, what up? Peace Catherine, hello. Peace Denise, thank you for joining. Peace Mans, thank you for being here. Peace Stephanie. Peace Swapnil, hello. Thank you for joining. Peace Marlene, hello. Peace Susan, hello. Peace Fernanda, thank you for joining. It's been a minute. Susan, thank you so much for your donation. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. I always have to say, give the spiel. Thank you for sharing your time here with me. For those that are new and haven't been here with me before, thank you for joining. The time portion is so important to me, whether it was a minute, 10 minutes, you know, or the full 59 minutes. My belief is that our incarnation in this third density, fourth dimensional reality is to experience linear time. And so that means we don't get time back. So the fact that you're choosing to share it here with me, it means so much. So thank you so much for doing that, for sharing your time. And Susan, your donation I see as the physical representation of your time. So thank you so much for that. You know, I see that as you spent that time, or you shared that time somewhere else, was compensated for it by way of a currency, and you chose to share that with me. So thank you so much. It means a lot. Thank you. And if anybody else felt like this practice served you, and you're financially able to, then please invite you to also donate. It definitely helps go a long way, especially with me living in Asia now. You know, as small as it, like, there's no small amount. The cost of living out here is so much more inexpensive than back in North America, so everything helps. It goes towards continuing my kind of lifestyle, but also this the content that I create. So these meditations, the ability for me to continue studying, me going to different temples and meeting different people, spending time at monasteries like this one, where I got to spend time with monks and learn from them and get new directions to study. Yeah, it goes towards that, and me learning different kind of modalities and diasporas and creative outlets for myself, like music, creating more meditations, creating more yoga flows, creating more music for sound therapy, affirmations, frequencies, binaural beats, learning the science behind the spiritual aspect of what we do, so that I can continue to learn and disseminate this information to y'all in ways that are digestible. So thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Oh, sorry. What book is this? So it was Dune Messiah, which the movie is coming out in December. Excuse me. Frank Herbert's Dune Messiah. And yes, yeah, ancestors are always with us. Exactly. That's the spiritual side of it, the metaphysical side, where they're always here, you know. So that's always super comforting as well. And Susan, I'm living in Da Nang, Vietnam right now. I was in Thailand. I was in Chiang Mai, Thailand for 3 months. Loved it. We will definitely be going back. That's my home. I'm making that my home. So, but my visa was up, so I had to leave. Just because the tourist visa is only 90 days. So I'm working on getting my DTV visa. That's another thing where your donations go. To apply for that, it's it's kind of costly. You know, it's like over $1,000. So just getting that together so that I can apply for my DTV visa, and that will give me 5 years in Thailand. Beautiful country. So I'm really looking forward to that. And from there, I want to continue to explore Asia, continue to explore and learn. You know, India's on my list. I would love to connect with my one of my yoga teachers, to connect with him when he's back home, and just, you know, visit him, see his family and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting that visa so I can make my permanent base in Chiang Mai, Thailand, where I'm also looking to open up a wellness studio so I can continue my use that as my base of operations and continue doing these live streams and have like a content kind of studio, so I can continue to do that, ship my bowls out, ship beers out, get him back with me so that we can continue to do sound baths like we were doing, you know, and enhance them with music portions and sound experiences and different instruments, like handpan and Tibetan bowls and flutes and all this kind of stuff that I'm also learning as well, you know. So I have a lot of plans, and I'm really excited for it. So that's just other places where your donations go. They go to helping to assist with all of that, which is really cool. Thank you, Majesty, for your donation. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, Susan Beers. I miss him dearly. He's with my sister right now, so she's taking care of him. Until I can get him out to me. But so, it is Philosophy Friday, and I wanted to speak on some things. I mean, outside of the life stuff, which I thought was pretty cool. I was doing some learnings today, some studying today with one of my favorite teachers. His name is Muji. I'll actually post the link to the actual video that I was listening to and studying today. So it's be at peace even with a chaotic mind. That was his teaching today. Well, it wasn't even today. This is like years old, I think. 4 years old. Yeah. This is my teaching. I don't know if you can see that, if that comes up in the chat. But let me know if it comes up in the chat. Maybe I can finesse it. I don't know if they allow external links, but maybe I can finesse it in some type of way that will allow it so it doesn't realize it's a link or something like that, you know. I don't know, let's try that. Oh wait, let me get rid of this. Might be that HTTP. Let me try to throw some curveballs, something like that. I don't know. See if that works. But if not, yeah, that's the spelling, Muji. That's it. Yeah, he's awesome. He's so great. Jamaican man too, so like resonates deeply with me. Love that. Drifting back to sleep. I love that. Yes. No external links. Damn. Okay. Yeah. Good call. I'll post that. No external links. And I'll post his name so you have that. His channel name. Okay, how about that? Be at peace even with a chaotic mind. Yeah, so he's awesome. But I love him so much. He always just brings me right back down. But his satsang was really great. So what I had gathered, some of these are direct quotes and then kind of blending in with my thoughts as well. There is nothing in this world that is not changing. So there must be something that perceives this. And this must be still. In order to see the change, this is the true self. So that was one of the things, one of the points of like how to, even with a chaotic mind, how to be at peace and how to find stillness. So for me, what is relative to them, it must be unchanging. And so pulling another quote from Dune, this is from the 4th book, from God Emperor of Dune, but it fits so perfectly. Leto Atreides II says, every sense we possess is an instrument for reacting to change. And I find that so palpable, so profound, because I see this as the physiological side of it. Because the true self is unchanging, it's still. It needs to be in order to react to the physical changes. So it's like it's kind of like just standing on the side of the street and seeing cars go by. The only reason we can see the cars go by is because we are still, we aren't changing. If we're in the car with the other cars, we're going the same speed at them. We might not notice that we're actually moving or they're moving. So that piece that is still, that is unchanging, is the true self. So I'm going a bit deeper with this. So I have an analogy, or just like my way of digesting it in my mind. I love to use things to help, like, I don't know, make it clear in my head, in my mind. So the peace we feel when we release. What did I write? Anyway, okay. The peace we feel when we release, the distinction is always there. So think of it like, this is a wild analogy, but think of it like the portal to Narnia in the book or the movie, the story, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So when the kids find the wardrobe, the portal is inside of it. They open the wardrobe and they move the clothes and stuff like that, and then they enter the portal, and that's how they get into Narnia. So it's always there, but it's hidden by the clothes and coats. Once they push past the clothes, they were able to perceive the portal. The portal is the peace. The clothes are the distinctions. So, and the attachments, right? Yeah. So in order to access that portal, we open up the wardrobe, we move the clothes and the coats, which are the distinctions that we put on things, the attachments that we have for those distinctions. Once we move all of those, there lies the true self, the portal. The portal itself is the true self. And so by us removing our attachment to distinction, which I call the, what did I call it? The perceptive mind, or the perceptive self. When we can move from the perceptive self, past the perceptive self, we get to the true self. And I call it the perceptive self because it is the self that is perceived by others. And it's needed. It's not to say that we don't ever want to dive into the perceptive self, because it is needed. It is needed to exist with the other perceptive selves. So those of us that are not aware of the true self live in the perceptive self. The perceptive self is the one that adds distinctions to things, good or bad, right or wrong, positive or negative, near or far, which again is important. It's important because we need those distinctions in order to know danger, for instance. So for instance, I was doing the studying and coming up with this while I was actually at the beach, and I remember walking into the ocean and thinking, if I lived solely in my true self, the true self the fight or flight response doesn't activate with the true self. The fight or flight response activates with the perceptive self, because that adds distinction. So that distinction, say near or far, if I walked too far out, that's life or death. I could die. The true self doesn't understand life or death because there is no distinction. The perceptive self does. So it's needed in that sense. It's needed to know when to turn on that fight or flight response. The issue that we have, that most of us have, is we allow the perceptive self to guide majority of the time. And the other analogy I had for this was when I'm still, when my heart is still, my mind is still, when we do these meditations, that's when my true self is leading. So analogy I have is walking hand in hand with my perceptive self. True self and perceptive self are walking hand in hand. But when I'm still, true self leads, and, I'm leading, perceptive self is behind me. But there are times where perceptive self, again, adding distinctions to things, has the anxiety come up, and it anxiously takes lead. Sometimes unconsciously, without it knowing and without even the true self knowing. It takes lead because it's anxious. Do you actually know where you're going? Like, are we going the right way? Should we go this way? And it takes lead. So now true self is now back and being pulled by perceptive self. Again, the perceptive self has the distinctions. Because it has the distinctions, that's where the anxiety comes in. Perceptive self is also the mind. When our thinking mind goes, that's when it starts to add the distinctions and adds the attachment to these distinctions. So how do we... Oh, also, the true self is a pacifist. So when perceptive self takes lead, it's humble. It just lets it, because it doesn't want to fight. It doesn't do that. And so that's why sometimes it could be unconsciously perceptive self will take the lead. So how do we know when perceptive self is taking the lead versus true self? It's discernment. That is one of our greatest strengths, one of our greatest tools that we try to exercise and practice. That's how we strengthen discernment to know. Discernment is a branch off of awareness. Awareness is almost like the start for everything. For all of our superpowers, it starts with awareness. The more we become aware, that's where we can discern. And discern whether we want which self to take the lead. When it comes to survival, and survival not being the modern kind of version of it, which is currency, money, you know, paying rent, getting food, buying food, groceries and stuff like that. More so survival in the traditional sense of life and death, going back to the ocean. You know, if I drifted too far out, that's life and death. That's where perceptive self, the mind, distinction needs to kick in, so that fight or flight response can kick in, so I can swim back to shore. Right. This was a quote from him. Right, yeah, okay. Because he was saying, because this world is ever changing, this reality is always changing. There's nothing that is not changing out here. And so because of that, even the self changes too. So even the things, our desires, our wants, those are always changing. And then those come with attachments as well. And because they come with attachments, we can't be happy with those things. So he says, what is to be happy? To be happy is to be content. To be content is to be still, at peace. To be at peace is to be free from desire. When we are complete, we have no desire. All desires trouble us, because that's where we attach. But we have the right to desire. You know, everyone has the right to want things, to desire things. But what we need to learn is just to not attach to it, to be able to let it go. And that was the other part of it, yeah. Or do I go to that? Oh, I do, yeah. Oh, right, I get to that there. There's nothing in the world we can get and be content with. Always, again, always changing world. Not even yourself. And when discovering the unchanging self, our mind will still be perceived, but it will have less influence. Again, I imagine this as walking as my true self, walking hand in hand with the perceived self. When the heart and mind are still, the true self leads. But sometimes the perceived self, although intentionally accepting its leadership, will anxiously or without realizing it, will take the lead, and the true self, being humble, will accept and allow it until the perceived self realizes and falls back. Right. Right, okay. And so moving to so the two of you would and then there was, he quoted from, I forgot the name of the person he quoted, but maybe some of you will know. I am not only free from bondage, I'm free from liberation. I think many leaders have said this, but it comes from somebody specifically. Actually, I mentioned it too. I put it on mentions? No, threads. What the hell? Who was that again? Datareya. The sage Datareya. Okay, right. The Advahuta Gita. It's an ancient text. traditionally attributed to the sage Datareya. So yes, I'm not only free from bondage, I'm free from liberation. So what I wrote was, what I realized from this is the feeling of obsession I feel from want or need, say something like for financial freedom, and the relief that I feel from letting it go or releasing it, or releasing the want or need or detaching from it. We can and are free from both. With one comes the other. Allowing the one in brings the other, polarized universe. Detachment from distinction is freedom from both. So it's kind of what I gather from that line is that I've spoken on this before, that this is a polarized reality, polarized universe, where if we call on one emotion, the other emotion is there, you know? So like, say if we call on love, hate is there as well. And it's when we slip in our practice or our fortitude, can we potentially allow the polarity of that emotion to take hold. So from love can come hate, because it's a polarized universe. So like yin and yang, they both come. Even though one is prominent in us, the other still exists. It's still around. And so that's what I get from, I'm not only free from bondage, I'm free from liberation. Because whether you seek liberation, bondage is there. And if you are in bondage, then you seek liberation. You seek the polarized side, the other side of that, at the other end of that spectrum. So to be free from all of this is to remove distinction. Again, remove the perceptive self that comes with distinction. Once we remove distinction from these things, that's where we become free from both, which goes back to something I posted a few months ago around Bodhidharma. When I've been studying Bodhidharma, that one of the monks had said I looked like Bodhidharma, so I started to study him. And what Bodhidharma says is that the still heart knows no distinction. Knows no distinction between right or wrong, good or bad. When we can still our heart, and by heart I believe he means mind, consciousness, spirit, soul. When we still that, it knows no distinction between right or wrong, good or bad. And that's the place where we want to operate from, rather than a place of distinction, because again, with distinction comes attachment. Attachment comes misery and turmoil. Yeah, it's interesting. How all these kind of fit together. At first, I was so confused with Bodhidharma's teachings around the heart not knowing distinction, but as I continued to study him and to sit with this concept, it started to make even more sense. Especially around the attachment. And that's also something that George Lucas says when describing Jedi. He says the Jedi live off compassion. They live off the love of the people, of who they help. And when they have somebody special in their lives, when they die or go away, when they don't let go of that, when they don't release that attachment, that's where the suffering begins. And if we look at Anakin Skywalker, his transition into the dark side, into becoming Darth Vader, was because of Padme. When Padme died, he couldn't let go of that love. And that fueled his move into the dark side, his transition into the dark side. And his life was nothing but suffering after that. So it was just interesting, because I was like, what was George Lucas on to tap into all this way back then? But yeah, it's interesting. I see all these different parallels with, yeah. thinking. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It is. I'm starting to recognize it as unnecessary now. You know, at first I was like, wait, what? Like, how? How is it like? How is that a thing that we can even let go of? You know, it's so entrained in us to think right or wrong, good or bad. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm starting to see it more now as unnecessary, so long as it is not the prevalent thought, or it isn't leading. Again, I think it's important when it comes to being able to communicate with others that live in solely the perceptive self. Because if, say for instance, I live solely in my true self, people who live in the perceptive self, the ones that add distinction to things, would just either call me weird or enlightened, you know, or too enlightened to relate to. You know, I wouldn't be able to relate to people, to friends, family members, right, and things like that. So that's where having the perceptive self, being able to tap into distinction but without being attached to it, can be important, so that we can still communicate, we can still have these people in our lives. And yeah, so that was one aspect. There's another concept I'm playing with that I might need some help with. Stretching your mind. Nice. Yeah. Right. Okay. It's like the protector. Yeah. That's interesting. It's like the protector. I can see it as the protector because of the familiarity. We feel comfort in things we're familiar in. And so we can kind of feel a sense of protection in things that we're familiar with because we're comfortable with it. Things that we're not comfortable with, I don't think we feel protection in things that we're not comfortable with, or things that are not familiar. New things, when we try new things, like say for instance, even trying a new food, you know, there's a lot of seafood out here. I remember when I was in Thailand, I went out to eat with a friend and she offered me oysters, and like I maybe had oysters once in my life, like decades ago. I remember not really liking it, but she offered it to me this time with like sauce and stuff. And then like when I was trying it, like immediately my face scrunched, you know, because it's new. I don't feel protected in what I'm about to taste. You know, I don't feel protected in the unfamiliarity. So that's interesting. Yeah, that's stretching my mind too. Yeah, that's cool. Huh. But yeah, like, how do we remove all distinction in this reality? Especially with something like liberation. I think a part of it is understanding that liberation can be the peace that we come to, regardless of where or how. Physical liberation, spiritual liberation. The more we can tap into this peace that like we get from these meditations, that's the liberation. If adding a distinction to it, or even removing the distinction, yeah, it's interesting. I guess it depends on our definition of liberation. Is it physical liberation, spiritual? Yeah, I don't know. I got to sit with that one a bit longer. Interesting. Right? Because that's what stopped me. Yes, I'm glad you said that. That's what stopped me. Because I'm like, if we remove the distinction of liberation, and that's the peace, but then peace is also a distinction as well. I guess, okay, this is starting to click or make sense. This is the closest thing to sense that I have, is that peace is the okay, hold up, pull that out. How we feel when we are true self, aligned, heart coherence, whatever you choose to call it, that feeling needs a name. So we just call that peace. It needs a distinction, I guess. Again, in order for us to exist in or with other perceptive selves. But living in true self, interesting. Yeah, this is interesting. It's like, how do we remove distinction? At some point, there has to be distinction, which actually leads me to like back to the video that I had actually made where I was in my enlightened observation, where I was like doing yoga and thinking this through. Because like Bodhidharma says, the heart knows no distinction. But at some point, my thing was, at some point, okay, when I look at manifestation and I look at, say, Dr. Joe Dispenza and his studies with thousands of different meditators in different places and whatnot, and when they've been able to manifest the life that they prefer, things that they want, that they desire, and they begin to do that, it's from a place of bliss, freedom, happiness, contentment, love, gratitude. It's these, I guess, seemingly positive emotions, if we have to define it that way or add a distinction to it, would be a positive emotion, positive elevated emotion. And so I just noticed that it comes from a positive elevated emotion, not from a negative elevated emotion. So like, arguably, and I'll touch on this in a second, but not from fear, not from hate, not from anger or disappointment or lack. Like, we're not manifesting that big house by being afraid. You know, we're not manifesting the car we want, or the salary or the partner that we want from hating everyone. So pause there, because arguably maybe there are some people, if we look at like the rich and elite, you know, we could say that some of them maybe are. So that's another thing that I need to dive into. But keeping on track, it's that like, when we are called to manifest these lives that we want, these things, they come from the positive elevated emotion. So it makes me wonder that at some point, source, creation, God, universe, self added a distinction. It put down a spectrum and said, positive elevated emotion, negative elevated emotion, manifest from this place, not from this place. It created distinction. And it allowed distinction. And maybe that's just the distinction we're putting on it, but it's still, a spectrum exists. Because I haven't created anything from lack, or I guess maybe I have, but maybe there are things that we don't prefer. You know, so it's interesting because that could be creation too, even if it's aspects of disease and dis-ease within our body. tumors or disease or sickness that we are creating, it's still, I guess, a form of creation. So maybe, but then see, there still is distinction. There still is the spectrum, because even if it is creating dis-ease, that doesn't happen when we are a positive elevated emotion. It happens in a negative elevated emotion. So I find that interesting too, because at some point, something decided to incorporate distinction in this whole thing. So how do we remove distinction from this reality? I don't know. I gotta sit with that one a bit longer. Huh. Yeah. Right, the meta ideas, yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep, that's enlightenment for me as well. Big time. I love that. It's the awareness of it. Because without the awareness, we attach. We don't know when we're attaching. So with the awareness, that's how we release the attachment. Right. Right. Okay. That causes us to, exactly, by labeling it, the story that we tell ourselves. Law of polarity. Yes. Okay. Which point in the spectrum to experience? So that's another. I want to segue into this other thing this other concept that I've been playing with. I think that's so important. Knowing it is an aspect of life and not all life. So many times in my past, it's become life. That thing, that bad thing that happens is now all life. It's everything, giving so much to it. It's like, no, it's just an aspect. It's just a piece. It's just something that we choose to experience and that we choose to label as that good or bad, positive or negative. And so something that I've been thinking about, in fact, maybe over a year now, is that actually, hold on. I want to come back here. Exactly. Yeah. So then it's like the labeling, that's the distinction of it good or bad, and limits the experience. But can also weirdly expand the experience when it is something that is good. But again, polarity, it allows for the other side to come. So this is the point. Realizing that we can choose which point in the spectrum to experience. So, okay, the concept that I've been thinking about, I was telling my friend Sarah this, is that I remember thinking a lot about what's meant for me. I hear people say that a lot. You're like, oh, that opportunity wasn't meant for you, or this thing isn't meant for me. I started to think with that, started to sit with that for a bit. I was like, okay, what if there is no meant? There's no thing that is either meant for you or not meant for you. Instead, it's like the switch, right? On or off. Instead of it being on or off, up or down, flip it. And now it's just even. They're even with each other. There is no on or off, good or bad, meant for me or not meant for me. What was it? Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, damn. Hopefully it'll come back. There's a word I'm trying to think of where it's like, nah, it's gone. It's okay. Anyway, so light switches flip to the side. Now it's all even. There is no good or bad. There's no right or wrong. There's no meant for me or not meant for me. What if it's all meant? And the only right or wrong, or the only right or wrong is, or the purpose, the true power, the only thing that matters is the ability to choose, the ability to exercise free will. It's the choice that matters more so than the thing that is meant for you or not meant for you, the distinction of things being meant for you or not meant for you. And the only wrong in life is to take away somebody's ability to exercise free will. Everything else is even keel. So no opportunity is meant for you or not meant for you. The only thing that matters is your ability to choose which opportunity. And so where I kind of get confused with this is that is the distinction, the adding of the distinction. So like, at what point, if we say, again, everything's even keel, I'm choosing this opportunity and it's bad. At what point does, or where does the belief come in that it is bad? Where does the belief come in with the distinction? For the distinction? I guess it depends on the individual, because it's what you see. It's what you get out of the thing. It's what you choose to get out of the thing. It's the personality dictating your personal reality. A positive person will see every decision as positive, versus a pessimist might see every decision or everything that is meant as negative. Peace, Pilar. Hello. Thank you for joining. Defense mechanism. Okay. Right. Yeah. So I could see that as a defense mechanism. It's a kind of a way to explain away the thing. Explain away the perceived negative experience that one may have. And I say perceived, I think that's the key word there, is that it's a perceived negative experience, because somebody else looking at it from a different perspective could see that as like, oh, that's amazing. because maybe you learned something from it, you know, regardless, you learned something from it. Even if it wasn't meant for me, as a perceived negative experience, you've now learned that this thing you don't like, whatever it was, is okay, I don't like. So is that a negative experience? You learned something. It depends on, I guess, your definitions. So many things go back to the labels, the stories we tell ourselves. Yeah. The perception and experience that makes it this or that. Yeah. Story of the Zen farmer. What is that? Yeah, for real. Good, bad, who knows? If you're typing it, let me see if I can look it up. Well, this is long. There once was an old Zen farmer. Hold on, let me see if you... Okay, you did it. Okay. I found it. I think I found it. So I'll read it. There once was an old Zen farmer. Every day, the farmer used his horse to help work his fields and keep his farm healthy. But one day, the horse ran away. All the villagers came by and said, "We're so sorry to hear this. This is such bad luck." But the farmer responded, "Bad luck? Good luck? Who knows?" Ah, I see that. The villagers were confused, but decided to ignore him. A few weeks went by, and one afternoon, while the farmer was working outside, he looked up and saw his horse running towards him. But the horse was not alone. The horse was returning to him with a whole herd of horses, so now the farmer had 10 horses to help work his fields. All the villagers came by to congratulate the farmer and said, "Wow, this is such good luck." But the farmer responded, "Good luck? Bad luck? Who knows?" A few weeks later, the farmer's son came over to visit and help his father work on the farm. While trying to tame one of the horses, the farmer's son fell and broke his leg. The villagers came by to commiserate and said, "How awful. This is such bad luck." Just as he did the first time, the farmer responded, "Good luck? Bad luck? Who knows?" A month later, the farmer's son was still recovering. He wasn't able to walk or do any manual labor to help his father around the farm. A regiment of the army came marching through the town, conscripting every able-bodied young man to join them. While the regiment came to the farmer's house and saw the young boy's broken leg, they marched past and left him where he lay. Of course, all the villagers came by and said, "Amazing. This is such good luck. You're so fortunate." And you know the farmer's response by now. Bad luck? Good luck? Who knows? Ah, that's fire. That's a crazy story. I love that. Okay. Yeah, for real. Who knows? Distinctions. So I think, like, to conclude, I feel like perceptive self, true self, both are important as long as true self is the leader majority of the time. Distinction is not a negative thing, not an inherently negative thing. As long as we can detach from distinction. What did I write? It was a crazy quote, and this was mine. Detachment from distinction is freedom from both. Yeah, that's fire. Detachment from distinction is freedom from both. Freedom from detachment and freedom from distinction. Whew, okay, interesting. Yeah. Distinction is necessary when operating as the perceptive self. It's important to operate as the perceptive self because there are still those who do. Yeah, okay, I think that's it. I think that's my conclusion of it. I don't know, what do you think? Thank you for the gratitude. Detachment from distinction frees us up to the flow. Right. Detachment doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It means we can let it be what it is. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Frees us up to the flow. Exactly. That's what it does. It's almost like how when we witness our thoughts, we want to witness distinction as well. You know, if we need to put a distinction on something, put it on, then let it go, as long as we don't attach to it. Yeah, okay, let it be what it is. Nice. Detachment from both. Yes, yeah. Emptiness, yep. Empty yourself of all judgment and just be. Yes, empty, yep. Emptiness, emptiness, emptiness. You know how he talks? Just be empty. Empty yourself of all judgment. But yeah, for real. Emptiness. Just dump it. Witness it, observe it, and let it go. Don't hold on to the distinction. Detach from the distinction. That is freedom. I'm not only free from bondage, I'm free from liberation. The full quote is Brahman, the supreme reality, the true self, is not only free from bondage and liberation, purity and impurity, union and separation, but truly it is ever free. It's real talk. Yeah. Ramen. Yeah, damn. That felt good. I felt like I got some stuff out. And it was really helpful to reiterate this, to reiterate detachment from distinction. Because like even what I wrote here of like for me, it was like I've been feeling stuck around a lot of financial stuff, financial freedom and stuff. And Maisha, I think I mentioned to you, but like in one of your lives, like me realizing there's so much trauma I had and shame around like money for myself, you know, I didn't realize that. And in facing it, and that's where I noticed that when I, like last night, when we did the blessing of the energy centers, like I went somewhere because I freed up that flow of energy. And that relief was amazing. It was so good because I unblocked those first 3 survival centers, that trauma and shame that I had around money. But even with that relief, the relief that I felt from letting it go, that's the polarized side of that, is that it was in me, you know? And so this practice, this talk helped me remember that, and I don't want to keep balancing the spectrum. I don't want to keep having the spectrum, feeling the blockages and then relieving myself of the blockages, feeling the block, being blocked, relieving the block. Like if I'm blocked, relief is on the other side of the spectrum. I want to release the entire spectrum. I don't want to feel any of it anymore. Emptiness. So this talk was great because it helped reiterate that for me, that all I'm doing, the spectrum, is just attachment to distinction. Ooh, yeah. Goddamn. I need to write that down. The spectrum is attachment to distinction. Yeah, that's tough. Not that the spectrum is not important. It still is. But the attachment to it is what I don't want. Emptiness. Yes, Grace. Yeah. Release it. Release the whole thing. Yeah. To I am. Yep. That's a whole nother thing, because then which I are we talking? I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. Did we come here for that? Or is that part of the process of remembering? And to remember. Feel, definitely. Like I have 3 E's as to why I believe we're here, which is to experiment, experience, and exercise free will. In experimentation is creation. To experience is that, to go through it, to go through the cycles, and then to exercise free will. So maybe it's not the not wanting to feel it, it's just not wanting to be attached to it, not allowing it to rule me, to guide me. Because feeling it is important. It's one of the most important. Otherwise, yeah, what's the point? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Feel it. I think that's one of the most important things. And that's what I often teach, is to feel first. For myself, I feel first, then intellectualize, and then feel again. Yeah. We don't get to choose what we feel. That's something that I've been aware of that for so long. Like, I think I first came to awareness of that when my younger days, when it came to love, you know, it was always something in me that was like when I would hear my friends talk about dating, or like be online with dating profiles and stuff, it's always like, I don't choose who I love. I don't choose how I feel about somebody. That just happens. But to your point, yeah, we allow how the experience moves through us. We choose what we do with it. It's like if we get angry, we choose how we react to that anger, to that situation, to that emotion that we're feeling. Do we break stuff? Do we breathe? And it's okay to feel them. Even the seemingly negative emotions, they're there for a reason. But like when I was younger and I thought of this, I started to apply that to other aspects of my life. It's like, if I don't choose who I love, then what other feelings am I not choosing? And then when I got a bit older, Nipsey Hussle said something that brought it back and made it click. He said is that we as young black men need to change our reaction to disrespect. And that's where it clicked. That was the articulation that I needed to make sense of this notion that I was thinking about. But it's exactly that. We don't choose what we feel. And it's the awareness that allows us to choose how the experience moves through us. And again, awareness is that thing just above freedom. Like if there's a what are those diagrams with like the box and then the line, the box and the line and the box? It's like that. It's like freedom, awareness, discernment. Like it splits off and it's like discernment and all this other shit. I'd like to make one of those actually. Yeah, crazy. Okay. Very interesting. Damn, really great talk. Oh, we're at 2 hours. That's wild. I don't know if I've done 2 hours before. And it's getting late and I still need to eat. Drat. Don't want to eat so late. But peace, Stephanie. Peace, Will. Peace, Grace. Peace, Swapnil. Peace, Denise. Peace, Mans. Peace, Angus. Peace, Pilar. Peace, Maisha. Peace, Willow. Peace, Jenny. Peace, Catherine. Peace, Priscilla. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for sticking around for this convo. Appreciate that. Philosophy Friday. Yes, I love that. Okay, amazing. You're very welcome. Thank you for being a part of it. And your words too. They always help. Always help keep things going and working and moving. And thank you for all those that participated. Grace, Pilar, thank y'all so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate the participation. It's so great. You're very welcome. Yeah, mindful poking. Yeah, that's what it's about. We gotta poke and prod this thing. You know, see how it reacts. See what it does. See what it incites. See what it invokes. Yeah, cool. Damn, I love this. This is so cool. This is so fun. And oh man, it was such a great day. I woke up just not knowing what I was going to do today. And after I have my own affirmation on YouTube that I listen to, 15-minute guided affirmation around non-separation, which I actually is a new track that I just uploaded to Insight Timer. But there's a video component to it as well that we've never actually done here yet. Peace and welcome. Oh, that's not the video. This will be a 15-minute guided affirmation focusing on non-separation. But yeah, I mean, that's there if you want to check it out. They won't let me put the video up because it has text in it. So I had to put the audio up. But you can find the video on YouTube. Anyway, after I do this in the morning, a 15-minute guided affirmation. And after this came up that Muji video. And so I just sat with that, went to a coffee shop, listened to it. It's like an hour long. And then went to the beach and re-listened to it. And then allowed all this to come in, which was great. And I was like, oh, great. What a fitting lesson because it's Philosophy Friday. So it all worked out so perfectly. Yeah, it was super fun. Very fun day. Yeah, cool. Well, all right. Thank y'all again so much. My unconditional love to you all. For real. Thank you. This is so dope. I appreciate it greatly. Please be well. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace, namaste, shanti, salam, shalom. Live long and prosper. A lie. Oh, 11:11. 10:11 for me, but I'll take it. All right. Peace, y'all. Be well. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, peace, YouTube. Got a few people up here. I didn't even see y'all. My bad. Hello. Appreciate y'all for joining. I can't see any names, but cool. Thank y'all. Peace, y'all.